took a 1-game lead with their winning game 1. Then we had a game coordinator issue, of course, and it went down for quite some time. I didn't even realize how long it had been. But now we're back for game 2, so a lot of time to just sit with what had just happened, where EG did take the early lead, had a 5,000 net worth lead, but Fnatic played it perfectly, and they played the way that we had explained that they needed to, with the Tinker of Op-Ed making a lot of space for his other cores, the Faceless Void as well as the Centaur. So he did a really good job with that, with the Blink Dagger as well as the Boots of Travel. We'll see him coming into the second game, what he's able to do and what EG are going to try and do to bounce back.
Yeah, this is interesting. Fnatic, they got a little bit of... they don't seem completely thrown off, but they're taking a second. We've got pretty much all support bans here, which is interesting. The Beastmaster makes it through, Dusa makes it through, Wisp makes it through. That's been by far the most, or one of the most banned heroes of this event. But weirdly enough, it's only been picked once. 36 bans and only 1 pick. So this is game number 2. It won the 1 game that it played, so we'll see if EG have a plan to deal with it here, I suppose. Maybe Lich coming up? Yeah.
Now, is this right into the Grimstroke? No, actually. But they go Wisp Gyro. No surprise, usually when you pick up that Wisp, you do in fact go to the Gyrocopter, because Gyro seems like one of those heroes that is pretty neutered without the Wisp. So
yeah, Gyrocopter feels completely unplayable without Wisp, but he is certainly the best Wisp partner at the moment, so not too surprised to see this. I think the consideration for Fnatic was that Wisp didn't end up being banned, but do we actually want to play it? And how much do we want to play it versus how much do we want to play against it, right? And it seems like at the moment just nobody wants to let it through, but sometimes you have these situations where EG is like, well, show us your Wisp. Like, if why should we have to ban it by default? Prove to us that you can play it. It's still, of course, we were talking about how important it is to try and come number 1 in the group, but at the same time, it can be really important to, make moves like this in the group stage when you have a little bit of leeway and sort of see what direction the meta goes in. Because if they can let the Wisp gyro through and then they can beat it, that's a huge confidence boost heading further into the rest of this tournament.
Yeah, because it almost gives you that feeling of, if we can beat a Wisp Gyro, we can maybe sacrifice not banning it. So then you ban more comfort heroes in those first 3 bans.
Yeah, there have been times in the past, I would say, like Lycan was a prominent example as a hero that at one point was just considered must ban. If you got it, it was just the most powerful hero in the game, and there were teams that, one of the big things that they managed to do was they would let the Lycan through and force the other team to prove that they could play it. And it feels like that was the same thing with Leshrac at TI5, right? It was considered to be just too good, must ban. But sometimes you got to prove that you can actually play these heroes, and if you can't, then that's a pretty big weakness in your lineup. So, okay, the Grimstroke does end up being banned. Good with the Lich. We got Magnus picked up for EG, so I mean it's an S4 special for sure, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to be him playing it here. In pubs, there's a lot of position 4 Magnus, but I don't know if that would necessarily be a great idea in this game. We'll see what happens. People have run Centaur as a support. That's not unusual at all.
Sometimes when I see Magnus position 4 like this, it's almost like they become the Gimp, and you pick up something like a PA or even like a Terrorblade. I've seen it before, where it's like, all right, come along, give me Empower. That's your job. That's it. That's all you do.
You're just a buff bot at that point. Yeah, it does happen. It's certainly strong. I like the suggestion of the PA this game. I think it's pretty good against the Gyro Wisp. You're just really good at getting in up in the Wisp's face and being able to kill him off. And Gyrocopter's not particularly great against you either. So yeah, PA is going to be the call here for EG as Fnatic go for Rubik. So again, this sort of somewhat greedy support duo. Rubik's certainly a nice hero to have against the Lich Centaur Magnus. It's a good Rubik game, but Rubik and Wisp always strike me as a little bit of a greedy support duo. So we'll see how this works out for them. They've still got a couple of good picks here to be able to counter the PA, though how exactly they choose to do that is up to them, or remains to be seen. Back when Bloodseeker was good, people used to, just pick Bloodseeker and rupture the PA, but haven't really been seeing a whole lot of Bloodseeker recently. Burst magical damage can also be good, but it has to be the right kind of hero. Because immobile heroes like Zeus just get their faces torn off by PA. You can't really do anything against Earth with all the mobility and slows.
Even yesterday, I saw a Phantom Assassin two-shot a Centaur. It was a feels bad moment for sure. I'm pretty sure that was secret against not Aster, Forward Gaming. It was the first series, or no, it was secret against Thunder Predator, and it was disgusting. And I was like, you're focusing the wrong guy. You're going after the Centaur. PA can just crit you. If you've prayed enough to RNGesus, the other team better watch out. And they go to the Tiny, which I kind of not sure if I like here. If they're looking for a Tiny that's trying to snowball, avalanche, toss, I mean, you've got Centaur, who's pretty tanky, and the Frost Shield. These heroes aren't exactly too easy to kill with Tiny.
I do like the burst damage against the PA, but yeah, the Tiny not going to be great at running around and killing the Magnus and the Centaur necessarily, and PA is going to buy a BKB eventually, so it'll be less of a concern for her. I guess Tiny probably just going to be played in the off lane this game. We're more than likely just going to see the last pick mid for Fnatic, and EG, they've got their last pick for Sumail here. You got the last overall pick, so they're going to get some very good matchups for him. Though I'm not 100% sure what we're going to be seeing. Pugna ban is interesting. We've been seeing a lot of this like last ban Pugna. I don't even know how much it's been. How much is it being picked? Yeah, only 3 picks and 13 bans. So people are thinking about it, but it hasn't really been run that much.
Yeah, and Pugna is good for a team that's going to be looking to push pretty heavily as well. Really outputs a lot of damage early too. So a lot of these teams that have been early push oriented, Pugna really does fit well into, and they banned the Huskar.
Okay, I mean, Sumail did play it earlier. I don't know if the Huskar is necessarily amazing here, but somewhat sensible. Might give us a little bit of a hint as to what Fnatic are thinking about picking up for their mid.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm not actually sure what they should go for here.
5 seconds remaining.
I don't think they want to tinker again. The thing is, if you're going to run Gyro Wisp is your win condition. You don't want to pick another hero where it's like, okay, well, now it's this hero's job to win us the game. And they will just go for Brewmaster. Okay, so I guess maybe it's actually maybe it's Tiny heading over towards mid. It could also be a core Rubik. I guess that's the other possibility that we haven't really talked about here, but I'm not sure if that's necessarily Fnatic style. I feel like it's just going to be on the Rubik. Remaining. But
yeah, I've seen a fair share of 5-position Brewmasters, but you really do want that 6.
That's the thing as well, kind of. So
we'll see what they end up. The only thing that's for certain is the Gyrocopter Wisp, the safe lane Gyro. Everything else could be pretty much in the air with Tiny, Rubik, and Brewmaster. For EG, could it be mid Magnus too? But
yeah,
I don't see that much.
It certainly could be. Yeah, I don't know how they like running the Magnus, but no, okay. Yeah, there you go. Just a Kunkka picked up. Still, they have a little bit of a question in terms of who's going to be playing what, and it is going to crit on the Magnus. So, despite S4 being on the team, they are going to be having the support mag, Centaur as the core. The support Magnus is going to slow down their lineup a little bit, but their lanes are quite good, and they have really good catch with the Kunkka pickup now, so I don't think they're too worried. He just drafts... The drafts that we've seen from them so far today have been, I would say, relatively similar style-wise. Lots of early options and wanting to fight early. This game might have this draft maybe has a little bit more staying power than some of the previous ones. I feel like if this goes late, they're not necessarily going to be too concerned. The PA scales really well, the Kunkka scales well, and even the Centaur into the later stages of the game puts in a lot of work. So I don't think they're too worried if this one starts to drag on a little bit, which is nice potentially because Fnatic have also been playing a little bit greedier in terms of their drafts. It is going to be the Abed Tiny. So let's see what he can get done. Lots of rotation potential for both mid laners. Kunkka can move around and find kills. Tiny can do the same. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out.
I think this time around, too, Fnatic are playing a little bit of a faster lineup. Where in their last lineup, we saw them needing a couple of items before they were really able to do anything. But here, it looks a lot different in my eyes, where we could see Tiny get a Blink Dagger, start moving around, you have some good lockdown, maybe get the Brewmaster a quicker 6, and then all of a sudden, you know, Fnatic might be the ones who are playing the Death Ball quick pace lineup.
Yeah, for sure. The interesting thing for me is going to be how these team fights play out, because I feel like both teams have quite good team fight, and there's a lot of really high impact abilities that are going to be flowing around. But there's also a lot of like potential big AOE combinations to see. So the initiation is going to be really important. Who gets gone on, where on the map everybody's fighting, if they're managing to fight around their vision, because there's lots of abilities where if they're used in just the right way, then they can have a super big impact. So it should be a flashy game, very least.
Always down for flashy games. We take a look at where these lanes are starting to set up, as it will be the Gyro as well as the Wisp over bottom for now. Do you think there's anything that's going to come from maybe a lane shift at all from either team? Or are these the matchups are pretty standard?
I like the idea of putting pressure the way that EG are now, swapping it up to have the Centaur just solo safe.
The battle begins.
Because I do think they want... There's no way that they're going to let them get away with this Rubik Wisp support duo. It's like, the Magnus is not a great support necessarily, but there's really no way that they should let Fnatic just sit back and farm with their two supports. And also earlier I said that I thought that DJ was going to be on Rubik, but of course DJ is the Wisp player, so it is Jab that's on Rubik's game.
Yes, I do really like Fnatic's lineup. One of the things, though, that I like from the EG lineup is the potential with the Empower to get Arteezy a little bit of farm. That will most likely means he'll skip the Battle Fury, and then Fly, who's going to be putting on that Frost Shield, of course, to someone like Arteezy, who can use the Phantom Strike to go in, have that Frost Shield on top of him, and maybe get some earlier aggression out of a PA.
Interesting the way that Fnatic is playing this bottom lane. I got the flak immediately from Edge, just pops it and shoves out the wave. I think they want the creeps kind of constantly pressuring with them. They want the creeps on their side. They don't want any opportunity for EG to start chasing. And EG actually just coming over and body blocking both of the camps. Always really important when you're playing a tri-lane versus tri-lane. You have to deny access to the pull, because if Fnatic are allowed to pull, then they're going to get an incremental advantage, and they might get level 3 a little bit faster than you, and that's where this lane is going to get kind of dangerous on both sides, because Gyrocopter is going to pick up some more damage. There'll be the 2 points in the Fade Bolt, so anything that EG can do to lock down this pull is super important.
So Fnatic, I noticed that DJ keeps tethering over, breaking out some of these trees, at least in the lane, but like you said, EG... And we're trying to make sure that they can get a better creep equilibrium for themselves. But the telekinesis comes out with the Rocket Barrage from MP. Frost Shield immediately placed on a crit. He takes a lot of damage and only has 5 charges in a stick to heal up.
Yeah, well, cutting down all these trees is really nice for Fnatic because it gives them a pull that's harder to contest. Like, you sometimes see people pull around this way, but being able to just kind of go directly down to the creep wave makes it so much harder for EG to mess with. So they know exactly what they're doing here. But top lane's going quite well for S4, out farming Ice just a little bit on the Brewmaster. But I think this is going to be a pretty boring matchup. Not a whole lot really happening there. Mid lane going quite well for but I think he just tried for a toss back on Sumail, but didn't quite get it, unfortunately. Didn't have the avalanche mana. Oh, I guess he had a mango if he'd gotten it.
And Oped is ahead right now of Sumail, who will throw the torrent, but it's not going to land onto the Tiny, who's got this early bottle, so he does have Avalanche available to himself if he wants to go for the Avalanche as well as the toss once again. He's actually short the mana, but right now, about a full level ahead of this Kunkka, doing a really good job here over mid.
Yeah, he is really going to need a bottle. Sumail actually played it really nicely. Oh. Abed gonna take some more damage here. I don't think he's gonna die, but Abed was trying to bottle during that last fight, but Sumail just kept canceling every sip the instant that he used it. Like he only got half a second out of each one. So nicely done.
So nothing too crazy happening with this game so far. 3.5 minutes in, no first blood, but the Avalanche threw on a Sumail again. No follow-up in that toss. He does have the mango if he wanted to toss back, but he doesn't have anything to toss back to, so. Except having
cost
that
him his
tower.
mango to get the mana to toss and cancel the south, but
Yeah.
looks like lots of regen getting ferried here. This next turn is going to be super important for Abed. Whether or not he gets this will decide a lot of this lane. If he gets a regen or an arcane or something, that's going to be pretty nasty for Sumail. It's an arcane, but it's at the bottom.
This will do just fine.
I have the shockwave as well as the skewer. They actually don't go to the empower just yet. Level 2. Skipping the empower, is this what you're looking for Arteezy? Just wait on giving him the empower for now?
Yeah, I think there's no point in having it for the lane, really. I mean, they'll probably start picking up points around level 4, level 5, but early on they just want all the nukes that they can get. And being able to like use the skewer for the slow or to even break its tether or something could be really nice. So I think this is pretty standard. And as for in between the towers at the moment, this top lane Ice just kind of getting hounded, but they are both finding pretty similar CS. Bounty runes coming up. Fnatic going to make an attempt or make a bid for both of them down here at bottom.
I'll keep DJ close to that bounty rune. He finally picks it up. He bottles it. And should be able to pick up the other one towards bottom. And meanwhile, Ice, he gets a third, so it's 3 for 1.
Ooh, toss back with the TP in from Jabs.
Might be able to get the kill. Sumail in trouble. The telekinesis came out with the tower and the tree tossed into his face. Sumail, he is the victim of first blood, and Oped's the one who gets it with a rotation over from the Rubik.
That was so nice. Just really good coordination from Fnatic.
Crit almost getting taken out as he skewers back. They look to go in on MP for a moment, but he's got the tether. He should be really just quite safe.
Yeah. Crit did have 10 stick charges up his sleeve, so wasn't really in too much danger. But they just want to punish because they know that the Rubik goes away from the lane. They shouldn't let the gyrocopters sit and farm comfortably if it's a 2v3 situation. But so far, Fnatic looking pretty good. Bottom lane, I think, has gone better than I had expected for them.
For Rubik, what's the scariest thing he can steal? I think in my eyes, obviously RP is going to be one of the big ones, but I almost think Frost Shield's very big, where you can have that Frost Shield on MP to just run on in.
Yeah, any of Lich's really good. Even the hoof stomp's pretty sweet. Oh, crit.
Bottom. Homing Missile comes out. They've got the Rocket Barrage as well as the Fade Bolt coming in. They'll get the kill. So Jabs getting the kill on a crit and 2-0 early here for Fnatic. Again, looking really good.
Sumail back under the tower once again. Ooh, the courier dies to the tree hit there, but barely surviving. Abed is playing up in Sumail's face super hard. He's actually a little bit behind on the CS now, but just putting on constant aggression, really threatening all the time.
Sumail was behind by about a level, but there it is once again. He'll get the toss. It's going to be back towards Jabs, who will throw the boat. That lands onto the Tiny. The Shockwave coming in, but it's not going to land. DJ comes over just in case. But nothing will be had by either side, and Sumail will use this time to fill up his bottle, go back to base, heal up as much as he can, and come back. But that's going to be into the hands of Ice if he plays this to try and go in. Does have the Primal Split available, fly nearby, Thunderclap to start. Torrent coming in, but he's stunned up, and here comes Oped, DJ, as well as the Rubik. Frost Shield doing as much as it can, but Sumail getting chased up pretty hard. The Stampede comes out. It's not going to matter, but that's over bottom where they look for MP. They've got the Hoof Stomp. The Telekinesis through. Not enough to save the Gyro. PA gets out of harm's way. There's the Skewer pushing Jebs away from his tower, so making him much more vulnerable. And the Rubik has to be careful as the Shockwave back into the hands of S4, and the Tether won't matter, as DJ did pop a salve trying to help out this Rubik, but unfortunately won't be able to do so.
Man, with Retaliate and Empower, the S4 is hitting really hard. Kind of interesting, nobody's top at all. Both offlaners rotating out to go and make plays happen, but I would even say that maybe S4 a little bit more successful. Looks like they are gonna, well, they almost get this bottom tower. With MP and DJ coming back down, they are gonna drive them back. So both teams successfully holding on to the tier 1s after the offlane rotations, but pretty interesting little mirror there. Neither one of them choosing to stay in the lane and trying to pressure the tier 1. Ice is back up there now, but they both had the spells that they wanted to go and use. I bet it's dirty on the prowl.
Yeah, he's looking over bottom. They did get a scan. He'll grab the tree, but I believe he's been spotted. So S4 back behind his own tower. They've got a couple of heroes here just in case Oped does make a move in a little bit too aggressively. But Arteezy down the stairs, and away he's gone. But they find this stack, and I think they need to... Can they contest that? They've got the Gyro, so they could definitely try and take it.
I think they can leave it for a little bit. I don't think he'd be able to clear it anytime soon, so...
Crit,
just wait for it, know that it's there.
All the way across the river, attempting to TP out if they could get the Telekinesis. Oof. Able to TP away. So this doesn't really pay off for Fnatic. They're pressuring the tier 1 tower. They've got Apid, MP, as well as DJ down here. Maybe they can get a kill. It's finally all worth it. The Avalanche comes in as well as the call down. Toss back to MP, but they've got the Stampede. So S4, he's fine. He's got the Frost Shield on top of him. Finally gets stunned up. The tier 1 tower not taking nearly any damage. Fly looking for a moment to possibly pop in. As Oped takes the bounty rune and will also pick up a regen.
This Centaur is huge. I mean, he's got 1800 HP. He's already got his Vanguards. Going on him was a little bit optimistic, and that was a lot of wasted time for the Tiny. He is still ahead of the Kunkka in terms of farm, but I think he was really hoping to find something a little bit quicker and enable a push. EG just kind of farming. Top tier 1 has taken some pretty big damage. Ice up Vlads, but Arteezy just can't quite seem to find a home. Oh, I guess maybe they can clear this with the blur. Yeah, looks like they'll be okay. It's gonna take them a little while, but still, they got to get rid of this right now before Fnatic have the opportunity to contest it.
And they come over, and that's gonna bring the attention of all of EG who are making the rotation in. MP comes on over, but most of the stacks already been taken. They've got the X as well as the boat. That'll come through onto this Wisp, and let's see where their follow-up is. As the Avalanche comes out from Oped, it's not going to be enough damage just yet. The RP hits on a 2. Arteezy in a little bit of trouble. There is the Sinister Gaze that's going to lock in Ice, but they get the kill on Arteezy. Now they're looking for more, with the Primal Split being used by the Brewmaster. The Cyclone holds up Sumail. They'll kill Fly. That's 2 dead on EG as they continue to surround Sumail. Kunkka's got nowhere to go. The Avalanche in 3 kills for Fnatic, and they lose nothing. It was a high ground aggression that came out from Fnatic. That is always the scariest, especially by this shrine, but it worked out in leaps and bounds for them.
EG knew that the stack had been scouted, but they didn't manage to de-ward everywhere. They've got these 2 sentries down, but Fnatic just placed the wards further back, and I really like what Fnatic did. They planted 2 wards at the same time when they came up onto that high ground. Just knowing that if one of them got de-warded, they would still have the vision that they need. So.
Crit's in trouble. Homing missile hits and the rocket barrage on top. MP with another kill, but the X coming through once again on DJ is going to be enough once more. X, boat, torrent, all landing, but the tether over, and he's still fine looking for the relocate, but into the feet, into the hoofs of S4. And he ends up dying anyway, but off-screen Fly, he dies to a neutral creep.
I almost feel bad.
It's like Fly getting ganked. But that was pretty nice by DJ. He forced S4 to use some more spells on him.
Nice toss with the Fade Bolt coming out. Telekinesis on top of that, but it's not leading to a kill on this Phantom Assassin just yet.
Really doing a good job of pressuring Arteezy constantly, which is really making him not feel safe at all in his job. All Arteezy wants to do right now is just keep hitting jungle creeps, farm Ancients with the blur, but they've put wards everywhere that he wants to be farming, and it seems like Fnatic are just going to keep on running at him. I think that's what Abed's job in this game is. He's just going to be running at the PA constantly.
He just gets run down. The damage from MP as well as the homing missile where you're able to go in. You know you have safety with DJ by your side. Homing missile into the rocket barrage. It's a lot of damage coming through from the gyrocopter so far, and a 2,000 net worth, 3,000 net worth lead for Fnatic, doing everything right in this early game.
Yeah, this is looking really, really good for them. Sumail just going to be rushing a BKB here. I think they want to try and take some fights with the boat. Kunkka is quite strong at this point of the game, but the Brewmaster is also really, really potent, so
Relocate on cooldown, but they've got the smoke. They look over at Sumail. Homing missile coming in. They'll bring jabs all the way to the outside of this. They almost want to see Sumail use X on somebody so they can't catch up, but the homing missile comes in. They've got the Primal split on top of it. There's the rocket barrage, and Sumail in a lot of trouble, but he gets the stampede off. There's the toss. It's only on a creep, so it's not on a hero that can really hold him in, but the tree toss comes in as well as the stun. That's from the bear of Ice to make sure they get the kill on a Sumail. Trying to skewer away, but the telekinesis is out from the Rubik. They've got the toss on top of it, and there's Jabs finishing him off with the Fade Bolt. 10-3 in favor of Fnatic, and just putting a lot of pressure on EG early.
EG need this Blink Dagger on Centaur so badly. They're just getting run over. The PA is not in a position to be able to join fights just yet. She'll be strong against the Gyrocopter later on, but for now, with all this magical burst that Fnatic is packing, there's just no way for Arteezy to come and get involved. And it's not his job really at this point either to be taking the fights. The plan for the lineup really is supposed to be that the other four heroes can, are enough.
S4 again, but focusing his shots on DJ, and yeah, DJ just gets killed off. You've got 3 heroes here, possibly looking to go in on an MP. No Wisp, call down comes out, crit nearby, he's got RP at the ready, and now he's going to be spotted. We'll see if EG are looking to re-engage.
Abed's looking for Arteezy. He doesn't want the Magnus, he wants a bigger kill.
Going around the back, Jabs shows himself. Arteezy throwing the Stifling Dagger out as S4 comes over. Blink, hook stomp, and they might have spotted the Tiny, but now the Blink with the Avalanche and the toss coming in. The Fable is going to finish off Arteezy. Now they look over at S4. The Skewer, Telekinesis, Chain Frost coming in from Fly. They'll have the Relocate coming out from the IO. And now Crit trying to run away, but with the Chain Frost bouncing, it's a little bit difficult for Fnatic, but not too bad. As now they've got the Tether on an MP. MP very much unkillable at this point. They clean up Crit. Down goes S4. 4 heroes dead. Sumail's the only one alive, but the only reason he is alive is because he's nowhere near involved.
That was a really weird spot for EG to pick a fight. Like they got a freebie on the Wisp with MP and DJ just running around the corner into him, but I don't really know why they stuck around the way that they did. I think they could have just disengaged, but they gave Fnatic the time to come back in with, like, Abed just walked all the way to top, and once he got there, I just think EG needed to get out. They didn't have the Kunkka anywhere nearby. I feel like EG haven't taken an actual, other than the fight for the Ancients where they were already taking some damage and stuff like that, they haven't taken a true 5-on-5 really, and to their detriment. I feel like Fnatic are just winning these just through sheer strength of numbers right now. So EG gotta just take a second. They do have the Blink on the Centaur now, but gotta try and get an actual 5-on-5 going. Or maybe just wait for the BKBs. Maybe that's what they have to do.
And despite being down about 10 kills, or not about 10 kills, it's not that bad. 3,000 net worth is definitely negligible. You can make this work if you drag the game on. So I don't think EG have to be, frazzled or anything. I think they can still kind of play this game. They need to stop dying, of course, but I think slowing down the pace of the game, looking for farm on both the Phantom Assassin as well as the Kunkka could be the key, and stop getting, or at least try to stop going too far out.
Yeah, the Gyrocopter's getting a huge amount of acceleration killed. Like, he's only got 100 CS, but 4, 1, and 7, so just all of the kill participation has really boosted his farm this game, and once he gets his BKB, that's going to be a pretty big timing. So if EG can, yeah, just stop the bleeding for a little bit, that would be a big help. And Ice is super tanky. 200 health talent, and he's picked up a Vanguard. He is going to be so difficult to bring down. And I mean, with good reason, he needs to be the frontliner. He needs to be the one scouting and setting things up. So, it makes sense that he's going for this kind of build.
Blink Hoof Stomp comes out onto this Ice Brew, but you know, doesn't do anything.
Just got 19 HP regen, doesn't care.
Has the Vlads back to full health. Regen is fine. And Fnatic, with the small lead they have, should they be pushing their advantage a little bit heavier, or are they okay to sit back and farm as well?
I think they're okay to just wait for a round of items. They're only going to chill out for another minute or so. Like, as soon as the Gyro gets BKB, the Wisp gets mech, they're so close to so many big items that it just doesn't make any sense at all to actually go at this exact second. But yeah, give them another minute, and I think we'll see Fnatic back and running at EG. Ice is definitely itching to use another Primal Split. He knows that he's super strong. Yeah, here we go. So they're gonna force things a little bit by Roshan Pit. The BKB is getting delivered. And the mech.
S4. He's got the X on him. Does end up getting
it's good
pulled
to know
back.
that X marks the spot and beats Toss, because otherwise that could have been a very tricky situation for him.
I was a little nervous on that one. If he was going to get pulled back and then land.
Yeah. I mean, I know that if you buy back mid-toss, you can reappear where you were, so...
Here's the X as well as the bow, but the Primal Split's going to be used by Ice. They've also got the homing missile coming in, so the stun's going to be thrown out by Ice to start this one, and then the homing missile on top of that. MP comes over, the Blink Hook Stomp comes up from S4 as well as the Stampede on top of that. BKB's going to be popped by Sumail. The Torrent hits onto the Gyrocopter, and now they're trying to relocate out with the cooldown coming in, and they just get away, but the telekinesis through on Arteezy, who has to back off in this fight. He's already low. DJ in a lot of trouble, gets blown up. He's the first one to die. The Chain Frost bouncing around. Jabs gets hit. The Sinister Gaze is going to come out with the RP from Crit on a 2. That's going to be on Ice's side as well as Jebs. Arteezy looking for another opening here. They lost S4. He buys back immediately. Blink Hook Stomp onto the Rubik, and now they might be able to get themselves a secondary kill. They finally find themselves the Rubik. The boat comes out once again from Sumail. Is hit by this avalanche, but it's not going to land on anybody as he was hit by the avalanche, and the X doesn't get pulled back in time. MP full health as well as Op-Ed. EG need to find their spots carefully, and unfortunately for them, they're unable to clean up Fnatic enough where they might feel comfortable going for this Roche.
Could have been a much better fight for EG, but unfortunately, I think the Fnatic sent a little wraparound. The Tiny and the Rubik, they were hunting for Arteezy, and they actually managed to find him, knock him down to about a 1/3 HP, and force the BKB out of him, which made his fight way harder, because when he finally got over to the Gyrocopter, he'd already pretty much used his entire BKB duration, and couldn't quite commit in the way that he wanted. Like, he was just chilling in that patch of trees, throwing out daggers the entire time, because he knew that if he came out of there, the Tiny was just going to finish him off. So, it was a bit of a messy one, but I feel like overall it actually works. That went pretty well for Fnatic, especially forcing a buyback out of S4.
Yeah, Fnatic's doing a really good job, and back into the Roche pit they go. They can keep up the aggression, especially if they got this Aegis.
Yeah, this is...
But here come EG again. Blink, Hoof Stomp, that's going to land on 2 as well as the Torrent. But the Blink, nice toss! That's bringing Sumail back, who no longer has the X marks the spot. The cooldown is going to come out on a couple of these heroes. They've got the boat flying in from Sumail about the BKB. MP chasing for a moment, but they go back into the Roche pit. They don't want to lose focus. Go for the Aegis, get themselves a second life here on the MP, and then move in. So they get the second life. The Torrent's going to land on the Rubik. They continue to move forward with the Avalanche, and then the toss pulling Sumail back, who's no longer got this BKB. Focused down and in a lot of trouble as the boat from Jabs is the one that hits. And now they look over at Fly, and they've got him in the Cyclone. They'll get the stun. They'll get the kill. 2 heroes dead on EG. Fnatic go back into the Roche pit.
He still has the Storm Panda.
Oh, S4 doesn't get Cyclone. That was really close.
He was like mid animation on that whirlwind before before it despawned, but still, Fnatic, 2 quick kills, such a nice toss back from the Tiny. Like, the X marks the spot already being used, but Sumail just getting a little bit too close, and then forced into popping a very, very awkward BKB. Fnatic, the execution on the team fights has actually just been so good. It looks like they're just thinking one step ahead about everything, right? They go for the Roshan, but they only leave the Brewmaster and the Gyrocopter in there, and they send the Tiny off looking for a gank. Or, e.g., they pulled the little X marks the spot shenanigans once. The second time around, Fnatic are ready, and they have a plan to deal with it. They're playing some very smart Dota.
Yeah, they adapted
really cool
to that X situation pretty quickly. And they caught Sumail out
really
after the
fast.
BKB. So 5,000 net worth lead, and Fnatic looking really good. What are the next steps for them to just finish the game? Because they are definitely the only tier 2 standing right now is this bottom lane, and I feel like they're almost just on the cusp of really pulling away in this game.
They really want to get some more wards down. They don't have the vision anymore. Spyfly didn't even come out of the before being dead.
It's a rough life.
They really want to establish around the EG base and just keep them trapped in there, which they don't really have just yet. So that'll be the next step. Take this tier 2, set up some wards, and hopefully this. I think they are hoping that this Aegis is going to nab them at least a tier 3, maybe a lane of Rax. I think they're quite happy to just continue fighting because EG have to keep using these BKB charges for every single fight. And the BKB charges aren't winning them the fights, is the problem. Like, that's what is supposed to be happening with EG's lineup at this point, but they're just getting forced to expend resources in really weird ways that they don't want to. Like, all of the BKB usages that they've had so far this game have been forced BKBs instead of, like, BKBs where they get to use them in the way that they want right as they go into the fight.
So here it is, the push to the tier 2, taking the last outer tower. Fnatic, they're on it. They still have this Aegis for a couple more minutes. I wouldn't be surprised to just see them continue the aggression. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, 100%.
They right now they have not been given a reason on why not to fight. They've been winning these fights. They took the Roche. Things haven't. Oh boy.
Oh, they're wasting spells. This is such a good opportunity for Fnatic if they can catch something.
Yeah, Ice. He doesn't have Blink Dagger, so he's a far distance away. The Phantom Strike from RTZ to crit, so he's able to make some distance between him and the side of Fnatic. But yeah, using that illusion, gets the boat drawn, and now this is, again, another reason where Fnatic can just show themselves and be aggressive.
Looks like they do just want to siege for a little bit. I mean, the boat's not a huge cooldown. It's going to be back up, but
X marks the spot. That'll be out onto MP, who still has this Aegis. They'll pull him back with the skewer. That's a nice place to put him and take out that Aegis to start. So that's going to draw Fnatic deep into this dire base. So we'll see what they're able to do afterwards. They land a Torrent as he comes up the second time. Arteezy moving with a BKB, trying to right-click MP down, but cleaning up one of those pandas, looking for more. There's the stun, and Ice's pandas are dealt with. That was very nice from EG. And now they've got the Stampede because they don't want to allow Fnatic to exit here. They've got the X, that's going to land on an MP, but the damage on Arteezy is just too great. He's in a lot of trouble. The boat comes in, but they lose Arteezy and RP on the 2. EG have a huge opportunity to make something happen as S4 goes in with the double edge as well as the host stomp. That's going to land on a couple of these heroes. Oped getting involved. It looks over at S4. They've got no Arteezy as the Stone RP comes in. Fly dies, S4's down, and only Fly has buyback at the moment. Sumail moving forward, and they'll lose DJ, but the toss comes out. Sumail's dead, and he's got buyback as well. But without the Gyrocopter, the pushing potential isn't exactly amazing from Fnatic after this exchange.
So much damage being done by the Tiny in that fight. EG, some really nice plays of their own. That Blink skewer back. They got the Gyrocopter Aegis down really quickly. And they want this tier 3 really badly in. But it takes a few more swipes at it, but back to a couple of the respawns coming in. Just back himself out. We're seeing the PA does a lot of damage. Arteezy, compared to the last fight, did finish up the Deso and has corruption talent. So, as we saw on those Ice pandas, he is hitting really hard. And until he gets the 1500 HP to primal split units and the AC, they're still going to be pretty vulnerable to that, so gonna have to be very, very careful with the mic.
glimpses of hope for EG, but even more glimpses of just aggression successfully paying off for Fnatic and looking really good. Everything had to come together there for EG, for Fnatic to even lose the gyrocopter in that. It was a good skewer to bring back the MP gyrocopter back towards the tier 4s, really isolating him away from his team. But how many times are you really going to have that opportunity?
Yeah, a lot of that is that Fnatic, I feel like they forced things a little bit. They saw the spells used, and they just wanted to go and take a crack at the high ground, and that's pretty much the best place for EG to be taking a fight at the moment, right? They got a lot of help from their tier 4s. Fnatic couldn't really do anything too clever. And the other thing is that Abed was forced to initiate onto S4 to prevent him from immediately hoof stomping the gyrocopter as he came up out of the Aegis respawn. And because of that, he didn't really, it wasn't an ideal fight for him because he had to deal with the Centaur instead of just like instantly killing the Lich or, instantly going on the PA or something like that. So it made it a little bit more awkward, and I feel like Fnatic's still just going to take another shot at it.
Right now on the high ground is S4. Won't get spotted. He'll be able to blink away. Now let's take a look. Sumail's got BKB. He's going into a Radiance next.
That's a nice item on Kunkka. You're really tanky. You can just exist in the middle of the fight and do some damage passively. The mischance is going to be annoying pretty on Fnatic. So, I like this choice. It's going to take him a little while longer. Once he gets it, it is going to be a pretty big deal. Who are they going to send out? But they're just going to try and toss this down.
So there's the X, forcing out the Primal Split from Ice Ice Ice. The Frost Shield will be out onto the tower, as well as the Crimson Guard, trying to do as much as they can to stop them from taking the tier 3, but at the end of the day, the tier 3 is gone. The X-Marshal spot comes out on an MP, but no follow-up for that at the moment. The homing missile will hit onto Sumail. Now let's see how willing Fnatic are to go. Back to form is Ice Ice Ice. Now they got the Stifling Daggers. The Blink Song comes out from S4, but Abed's going to blink very offensively. They've got themselves the Avalanche and the Stone RP. That's going to be huge here for Fnatic with the RP back, coming in and really leading the way here for EG. They lose the Lich, they lose the Rubik. Nothing really gone for both sides just yet. They buy back here on the Lich. The Avalanche Toss comes out on Sumail, and that's going to be big. But S4 landing the hoof stomp. There's the Chain Frost bouncing around, doing what it can. But let's see if they've got the follow-up to kill off Abed. They need a couple more shots. They'll finally kill him. And now, without the Tiny, are you really willing to stay? You'll get them the melee racks, hopefully, and now it's your time to back off. But Arteezy in a little bit of trouble. He's surrounded by MP as well as DJ. The host stomp comes through. That's going to land on Ice Ice, but MP continue to move on forward. The sun comes out on Arteezy, and he's in a lot of trouble. The buyback comes out from Sumail. They've got the X as well as the Stifling Dagger. Onto MP, pulling him back. There's the Torrent, but tethered up once again. DJ gets the relocate out. Arteezy's now dead to MP, and he's not even there. The call down finishes him off. Now the X on the Ice 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 with the boat following it up, but they just don't have the damage, and MP and DJ are back. Fnatic couldn't play this more perfectly.
All the little plays from Fnatic have been so good. I don't really understand why EG went on the Brewmaster. I feel like he was the only available target, just because the rest of Fnatic had kind of backed off.
No, Sumail pops the BKB. He'll steal the Torrent. Sumail trying to do all he can with the Blink Hoof Stomp. Or no, his Blink actually coming out from Crit. He's not able to do anything there as S4 continues to move on forward. The BKB pop by MP. Meanwhile, on the back lines, we see Arteezy kill off DJ. So you no longer have that Wisp. And
his BOTs. He's coming.
He's here. Re-engage. DJ finally coming over. He had to TP to the shrine, and he'll find, well, soon a tether target to get over to.
I think Fnatic took a second and realized maybe we don't need to keep throwing ourselves into this. Let's buy a few more items. Let's get another Roshan. Let's kind of close this one out the safe way. Oh man, Sumail, looking at his inventory, it speaks volumes about what happened this game. Like, he thought he had time to go for the Radiance, but then the last couple of minutes have just been so good for Fnatic. He kind of desperation bought this Sanj, trying to get a Heaven's Halberd or something along those lines, but EG really feel like they're on the brink.
Nice blink telekinesis, in a lot of trouble as the torrent that was stolen a little bit of a while ago. Nice RP, but where's your follow-up? You no longer have Zoom out. The Chain Frost is going to be bouncing around. S4 comes in with a hook pump. That's going to land on a couple of these heroes. The Cycling Deck is thrown out, but still an RP comes back in. That's going to lock down S4. He's in so much trouble being right-clicked by MP. Meanwhile, Crit goes down, and they're looking for more because Ophead's inside the base. S4 goes down, and relocate in. BKB's going to be popped by RTZ. Looking for enough damage to kill off DJ, but now he realizes he just needs to run. The Phantom Strike over to S4 as he's thrown in the air by Isis Panda, who's finally back to form.
Alright, well, I thought that they were going to need to get a Roche, but the chain stun on Sumail was so perfect. Couldn't get the BKB off, and now he's just dead for 60 seconds. They got no Kunkka, and they're missing a lot of tools for this fight.
Backlines. Avalanche, toss, S4 going in without really anybody else. He'll get the kill on a DJ, but he ends up paying with it with his life for that kill. And he's dead for 104 seconds.
Seems like EG gonna take the... I mean, I think they could tap out here, but they do also have a chance with the PA scaling, and they can certainly hold for a long time with the Empower and all the cleave and whatnot, so... I don't know, similar to the, like, letting the Wisp through the draft, this is a little bit of a statement too. It's like, look, prove that you can end the game. Prove that you can not mess up and close this one out properly. Because I feel like at this point, Fnatic really do have this one mostly in the bag. Especially once they get this Aegis over on the Gyrocopter. MP just does so much damage, and I don't think they have the resources to kill him twice with all of the other help from Fnatic heroes.
We're trying to go for Roche. This is only the second one. EG smoke over. We'll see if they can win this fight. They certainly have a realistic shot. Possibly a Divine Rapier into the hands of RTZ soon too.
Yeah, I think that's what they need at this point. That's kind of the last ditch effort. SSI's gonna go scout with the Storm Panda. Nicely done.
RTZ. And look at this, the Boots of Travel from Oped? No.
They thought about it, but why fight with only a quarter Primal Split? What's the point? They may as well just wait for the split and then go from there.
Heaven's Halberd here onto the Centaur, so after that Crimson Guard he goes into the Heaven's Halberd, and again, still, we'll see, it's countdown clock to Divine Rapier, but I don't know if he's even going to get there. RTZ in a little bit of trouble as the E-Blade comes out. Avalanche toss, RTZ able to survive for now, but ends up falling to MP, and now the hook stomp's not going to really matter. As stunned up his S4, and the Stampede comes out a little bit too late. They've got the telekinesis, RP on a 3, so maybe the turn, if they've got the damage, it would really work out if they had RTZ. But now the Chain Frost on top of it, 3 heroes dead. This is a big problem for EG as the relocate from DJ, just DJ. The Torrent comes in, the E-Blade again on Sumail. He gets under his tier 4s, but hey, you thought it was cover earlier. It's not going to work out anymore as they just run you down and they eat you up. Fnatic taking game 2 and a 2-0 sweep over EG.
Well, I think everyone on Fnatic played phenomenally, but especially Abed, I want to say. I think his timing was fantastic. Always on the right targets, found so many opportunities in these fights. He did really well in the lane as well against the Kunkka, who has felt like he's not impossible to deal with on the mid lane, but can be really difficult. But the Tiny turned out to be the right answer, and all of the little plays were just fantastic. The relocate save, some of the RP steals from jabs. It really felt like they just played better than EG at every point.
Yeah, they played better for the majority of both games, and that's a statement series right there. Everybody needs to take notice because Fnatic just 2-0'd EG, and that is big news around town. So they're gonna come out of this group in the #1 spot. Aster come out of it in the 4 spot, and EG will take on Alliance in the next series coming up. And if EG can't get it together, there's definitely some possibility here that Alliance push EG into that 3 spot. But the 2 spot anyway is up against Virtus Pro. So does that come into play? Would you rather single elimination in the playoffs or double elimination first opponent Virtus Pro?
I mean, you may as well just start in the upper bracket, right? And then send you down to the bracket, then you've progressed one round anyway. You definitely want that upper bracket berth. Everyone's playing for winner bracket.
So we'll see what happens. It's going to be EG against Alliance next. And we'll be back with that in just a moment. I'm your caster Bcop at Bcop92 on Twitter, at Basekip on Twitter as well. And we'll see you guys soon. Fnatic, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. I thought this was going to be a 2-1, no matter who came out victorious, but Fnatic